my afternoon has been going very slow. So I was able to put together a agenda, and that's as far as I could get with the agenda because it would just time out and drive me nuts. If my voice continues and I'm able to talk for long enough, we'll keep going above Wildwood. But if my voice decides to stop, then we'll stop at the top of Wildwood. But I'll do my best to keep going above Wildwood as much as I can. So last week I had to cancel, unfortunately, and I was unable to cover the Maurice River. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start by talking about the Maurice River, Lewes, Delaware, May Canal. For some reason, I can't click to get rid of all this stuff on the side. We're also going to talk about some stuff along the ICW. We're going to talk about Cape May, and we're going to talk about Wildwood. And if my voice holds out, we're going to continue up. We're going to cover back all the way up to Avalon. I am doing this in partnership with a couple of different people. I'm doing it in partnership with John Anderson, Happy Captain's Boating Instruction, Sea Scout Ship 117. There's a couple other people out there that just haven't joined us. There is another person a couple other people that may be jumping on. I've heard from them throughout the session today. There's a couple housekeeping things. We are going to be recording this, and I am going to be doing my best to be editing this and posting this online onto our YouTube channel for those that miss the conversation. So it's really good if we prevent or reduce the use of profanity and negatively talking about different places, because it's really hard to edit that stuff out. On the same lines, let's try to reduce or keep the politics to a minimum, because that can just steamroll or get our conversation off the tracks pretty quickly. Next up is try to have your camera off and your microphone off during the conversation, unless you have a question. If you have a question, feel free to unmute it. There is a button at the bottom. There's an arrow pointing at it. You can press the button, and then you can raise your hand. I might be able to see it, or the person that's helping me today, her name is Caitlin. If she sees it, she will be able to just kind of ding me, say, hey, this person's asking a question. Throughout the conversation, Caitlin will be dropping links into the chat, just different links to the marinas and different information. That way, if I talk too fast, maybe I'll be able to copy and paste it out of there or write it down on a piece of paper. Before we really talk about, or I bring up the charts, I do like to kind of highlight different things. And today, what I want to highlight is dolphins. Believe it or not, there are dolphins in our waters. Now that we're going to be talking about the waters around our shore and the salt, mainly now the salt water, some things we want to keep in mind in respect to dolphins. Okay, first up is let's try to not feed the dolphins. There's plenty of fish out there for them to feed on. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate that they take the fish that we're trying to catch, but let's try not to feed them. Let's try not to get them to come to our boats. If the dolphins are swimming around our boat, let's not jump in the water. No reason for us to be swimming with them. There's no reason for us to be jumping in there and try to touch the dolphins. That's just kind of weird. If you want to touch the dolphins, go take a cruise or go down to Florida. I think down at SeaWorld, they still allow that petting scenario. I really don't know. If you're driving your boat, try to maintain a safe distance. Keep in mind, if you see one dolphin above the surface, there's a whole bunch below the surface. So let's just slow down, okay? Keep yourself a minimum of at least 50 yards between you, your boat, and that dolphin. That gives them plenty of room to go down into the water and move wherever they want to go. Remember, they're chasing those fish, and there's plenty of their friends down below the water with them. If they approach your boat, again, slow down, maybe throw it in neutral, just kind of drift a little bit. They'll leave your boat. No harm, no foul. Let's try not to harass the wildlife. That goes for dolphins. That goes for birds. Try not to encourage, or try not to. I don't know. I don't know how to best to describe it. So a lot of people like to think that, maybe there's a way to get the dolphins to, or to encourage them to swim next to the boat or in that bow wave of that boat, and they'll just swim along next to the boat and have fun. There's really no way to encourage them to do that. They're just going to either do it or they're not going to do it. I have not found a best way to encourage them to do it. Try not to just kind of convince them to do it. They'll either do it or they won't do it. All right. But if they do it, then hey, they're doing it. Don't freak out if they're doing it. If you're fishing and they swim, and if the dolphins swim through, and I just let you know that just kind of ruined your catch. If the dolphins come through, that they're just went all of your bait. They're just went everything that you were trying to catch. So you might as well just kind of bring your gear in and move over to a new spot, or wait till they move on and then throw your lines back down in a couple of minutes if they leave. Look for the birds and go where the birds are. Stay away from the dolphins. Okay, so now we're going to, if this is your first time joining me today or joining the webinar, what I do like to do is bring up, I'm going to now transition to the iPad or my tablet. Nope, not that. Okay. For the purpose of today's conversation, and probably the rest of my conversations on this webinar, I'm going to be using Navionics. Navionics tends to be, so far, has been the most user-friendly during these conversations. It's also the screen you're probably going to be used to seeing if you bring up a chart on your screen on your dash. So it's good to have kind of, this is what I'm seeing, this is what he's talking with. First up is your settings. Make sure you have decent settings set up. I always like to change use the annotation. Just a forewarning, I like to use the pink color because it is easiest to see. Okay, that pink arrow just pops in front of all the blues and the greens. A lot of the other colors just kind of hide. All right, so I'm going to press the two squares to change my settings, and I'm going to pick the sonar chart, which used to be called the fishing chart. Why did not do anything? Okay, there we go. I'm zooming in and it's changing. Okay. So why did I do that? I did that because as I zoom in, now I have a whole lot more contours and I can see the path that I want to travel to go up this river. This is the beginning of the Maurice River. If I were to go back and change these settings back to what it was, the nautical chart up at the top, if I were to change this back to here, go to the annotation, that is not really useful. It's not a useful view, right? All it is just a big block of dark blue, a little bit of light blue, or whatever that grayish blue color is. That's not really helpful for my conversation. If I want to travel this area, I want to see these nice contours. I can navigate through there. If I've never been in this water, I can navigate through there. Anybody can navigate through there, as long as the water somewhat resembles this area. Okay, we're going to start at the top of the Maurice River. The Maurice River, believe it or not, starts all the way up here. All the way up here. I believe this is Bridgeton, roughly where it is. I can change this map to a satellite view. to confirm that. I think this is Bridgeton or it's Millville. Maybe it's Millville. Okay. We'll call it Millville. I'm going to go back, get rid of all the satellite imagery, because for one, if you're going to be using an iPad while you're on the boat, you want to make sure that your power usage is the minimum possible. If you're using a satellite imagery, it's going to suck that battery dry. Two, for another reason, if you're going to have a satellite imagery, it has a whole lot of information on there, a lot to distract you. All we need to see is the river and the contours. So let's get rid of all this overlay. Get rid of all that information. Give me a nice big giant yellow screen. All I want to see is the blue. All I want to see is the water. Okay. At the top here of the Maurice River, there is a fixed bridge. I call this the top because there's a vertical clearance of 3.9 feet. For the most part, almost every single boat out there is going to have a really difficult time getting underneath that at high tide. At high tide, there's basically no clearance. At low tide, you're talking about 3.9 feet. So at high tide, nobody's getting through there. Okay, so in my book, this is the top of the river, as far as you can go navigably on any boat. You're also looking at, if we're looking here, depth-wise, looking at a 1 foot on the edge, we're looking at 5 to 6 foot. So you're not getting up here with that big of a boat. I mean, may get up here with an average size boat, but we're not getting up here with anything too humongous. All right, so if you're coming up here with some sort of a cabin cruiser, maybe you want to pull up here to the city dock and pick somebody up. I don't know why you would want to do that, because this is forever away from the river. But if you did want to do that, you can't go underneath that bridge. And just to confirm what that road is, I believe is that Route 37? Well, it's Main Street in Millville. That's what it is. Okay, let's clean that up. There is a title mark we can see here that said 07 with the blue line at the bottom of it. Blue line indicates that it is low tide, and that caret at the top of it, the arrow, is pointing that the tide is going up. I know we talked about that quite a bit. We see that it's low tide and tide is coming up. So that right now there should be 3.7, 3.9 vertical clearance underneath that fixed bridge, if you wanted to get under there. Okay, so we can follow this river down. It's pretty wide open. There really isn't any real issues on this river up here. There is the occasional sandbar that sticks out. Slide over satellite imagery, maybe we can see them. Maybe we will, maybe we will not. Not seeing them, but so right on the way down, we can see here where we kind of have a runoff. We have a lot of ground to cover, so I'm going to try to cover this stuff as quickly as I can, right? So we have a development here. We kind of have a little stream, a runoff. Okay, anytime you have a little runoff like this, you're going to have kind of a buildup right in front of it. All right, so if you're going to be driving your boat, make sure that you pay attention to that and kind of yield to the outside of that so you don't run aground. Okay, if you were to bring up a Google map or an Apple map, you would be able to see that sandbar, or you'd be able to see at least the dirt runoff in the river from that map. We can't see it here because we have the contours. Okay, here's another instance directly below. All right, directly below here, where the river is going to bend slightly, where you have a little bit of runoff. You're going to have a little bit of runoff coming in from, going to have just a little bit coming in from here, a little bit coming in from here. So make sure you kind of stay in the middle of the river to avoid any issues. Okay. Keep sliding down. As we slide down, we're going to come across what looks like kind of a bend here, almost like what used to be a turn and what used to be a turnaround is what this used to be. The river, back when this used to be a commercial river, right? So you would have had traffic that would have had to go in one way and been able to turn around and go the other way. All this back here has likewise silted up, so you can't go in this direction. So you have to stick with the main river. Okay. I'm annotating. Sorry, Caitlin. I'm going opposite on the river. So the first link you're going to be posting here on the river is going to be the Fowler Road boat ramp. The Fowler Road boat ramp does not have a fee. It's a free ramp. It has lots of ample parking. Plenty of room there to park your boat. Wish it was a little bit clearer so you could see the lot. It has a concrete asphalt parking lot there, plenty of room. Docks do go out a little bit, but sometimes at low tide you can get some mud, especially if we have a drought. I do remember last summer with that significant drought we had in August, there was a lot of mud in that area and people were having some trouble. Okay. All right, we're gonna go a little further south here. Is anybody canoe or kayak on the call? Give it a thumbs up if you canoe or kayak. Okay. I don't see anybody that canoes or kayaks. All right, anytime you canoe or kayak, you got to pay attention to kind of lazy bends or the bends in rivers. Okay, anytime you have a big giant lazy bend like this in the river, change this back to pink so we can see it. Okay, anytime you get a big giant lazy bend like this in the river, the water gets confused. Okay, so on the outsides, it gets real confused here, so you get a lot of buildup. And where does this, you tend to start getting a sandbar that gets built right here. So you got to really, you kind of have to pay attention to that. So it should be clear. Just kind of watch for it to slowly get built. Just kind of pay attention as you're going through there. Okay. There. Okay, here's another one. There's another one where we can kind of see that instance where, well, no, we have holes there. We're just not getting built. All that sand is just getting thrown, coming around, and it's just getting thrown over there. So that's fine there. Stop annotating, coming down, coming around the river. Okay. Something to keep in mind with this river, the current does move pretty swift. So if you are paying it, make sure that you are paying attention to where you're going. If you have to cross the river for any reason, if you're stopping, if you're going to be anchoring, going to be hanging out, you can do so. Just try not to do it in the middle of the channel, in the middle of the river, because boats will be moving pretty quicker than you realize, especially if you're going with the current. Okay. All right, just kind of going south here. We're going to be coming to our next marina here. Here is Spring Garden Marina. Spring Garden Marina does have, I believe they do have a travel lift. If needed. Yep, they do have a travel lift. They do lift in and out some pretty large boats if needed. And they have a good service facility there. And I believe they have fuel as well. I have to double check on the fuel. I'm pretty sure they have fuel. All right, gonna keep going south. Sorry to move quickly, but we have a lot of water to cover. Okay. Right here, we have another one of those turnaround areas where the river is kind of slowly eroding this area. Instead of taking the inside of the turn, it's taking now the outside of the turn. You can really see with the contours how it's slowly eating away to this island. So here we want to stick to the outside of it. Try not, it can be deceiving as you're driving through this area. Make sure that you're staying to the outside of it. Don't cut this corner, especially if you're in a big boat. Stay to the outside and follow it around. Okay. All right, now we're coming up to another bridge. I'll zoom in here so we can see it. We have a vertical clearance of 25 foot and a horizontal clearance of 91 foot. This is a fixed bridge. Hopefully you can read that. That is right here. I will circle it for you. Okay, so this is why I said earlier that you're not really going to get many big boats up to that large that Milvo area because of this 25-foot vertical clearance. I mean, 25 foot is big, but still, I mean, you're going to have some issues once you get further up. And again, that arrow indicates that tide is running north, and the red means that it is increasing speed. Okay, heading south. A lot of sharp bends, it kind of waxes and wanes. The river does move quite a bit, and it's all marsh area along this river. There's not a lot of trees, so there's not a lot of trees that get hung up on big open wide areas. You will have to pay attention, watch out for there are the occasional crab pots to pay attention to them. These two marinas here, these are commercial yards. You have Dorchester and you have Yank. You won't really see many recreation boats coming in and out of there. Maybe some large commercial, maybe 6-pack vessels coming in and out of there, but not many recreation vessels coming in and out of there. Kind of the river kind of snakes its way down and around. Comes down to what used to be Boat World Marina. Boat World Marina was recently sold. As of this year, it is now, believe Delaware River, River Marine Manufacturing or something like that. Now they're manufacturing commercial vessels just like Yank is. So Boat World is no longer there. The marina is there, but they're no longer acting like a recreational marina. So recreational access is getting slimmer and slimmer onto this river, but it's wide enough, large enough. It is still available for recreational activities. Its access is getting smaller and smaller. But it's a great river and great resources, and absolutely a beautiful area to cruise. Absolutely gorgeous in here. Okay, now we're entering bivalve area. If anyone's curious, if you're curious where to find, they have lots of stuff going on down here. Down here is the New Jersey tall ship is docked down here. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. I can't believe I can't remember the name of it right now. But that's docked down here. There is a, see if I can click on it and find something with its name here. I'm not finding it.
Oh, I think it's the Mirwald.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. So the Mirwald is docked here, and along with the Mirwald is the Bayshore Center. A lot of cool stuff going on down there. They have a whole museum. They have recreation stuff going on for the kids. A lot of neat stuff. They don't really have a docking facility for recreational boats to just pull up and hang out. There is some dilapidated docks adjacent to them where Long Reach Marina used to be, and there used to be some old marinas next to them that are either there or they're not there. This place constantly changes. But it is a really cool area to go to definitely by car. I did skip over here because it was not tagged on here. But we do have this area right here. I will circle it. Like that. Right here is Anchor Marina. That is an active marina. That's kind of really the only one left on this section of water. They do have a $15 drop fee, so they do have a ramp that is open and available to use. The best way I know to confirm whether or not a marina is open, especially since I have work during the day, is to check their Facebook page or their Instagram. If they're active and they have recent postings within the past day, then I know they're available and they're running. Okay, let's talk about the entrance or the inlet to this river. This is where it can get kind of confusing and kind of intricate. So as you're going out of this river, okay, as you can see, the river starts widening. I haven't pointed these things out yet, but I'll circle it here because it's really kind of neat. Right here. Oh, delete that. Okay, right here we have this image, this thing. I don't know what that is. So let's find out. This is a picture. You click on it and you click on Robinson Marine, and it shows you of what a marina that used to be there. Okay, that is a whole bunch of docks that used to be there, but what it's really showing you is how wide this river is, right? So you can see how wide and the perspective that you have there, right? So you got plenty and plenty of room. So you're going from a relatively small or narrow-ish river to where the river really starts to widen and gets larger, but it gets quickly deceiving. Up here, I just clicked on it. See if I click on it again, it says a sunken barge breakwater. All right, see that again. Sunken barge breakwater. So really the trick to getting out of here, I'll draw it with a line. Okay, as soon as you make that turn with the pen, come out here, you make this hard turn to the port. Okay, we have this red number 14. Okay, we're going to go past this red number 14, and then we're going to go up to this green. Okay, so we see this green down the bottom center, right where I left that line, that pink line off. We're not going to turn until we get to that green. Okay, because we have that old barge there. That barge kind of made a big old sandbar. Okay, you got to stay away from that sandbar dredge. Actually, almost made an island at one point. Okay, I'll come in here and I'll zoom in so we can see what we have here. Okay, so what the dredge has done, the dredge has created this island here. Okay, so if you don't come all the way to this green channel marker and then go out, you kind of get caught up in all this sandbar over here. Not only is there the sandbar, but you have all sorts of everywhere, all over the place, are all of these crab pots just everywhere. All right, and you've really got to pay attention to these things because they're everywhere over there, absolutely everywhere. You just got to pay attention to it. Okay, so go all the way to that green before, and hug that green before you go, just to avoid that old barge out there. I should have cleaned it up before I left that. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's zoom out. From that green, then we have the red, and we just follow the channel out from there. Okay, I put my annotation back. So coming out, we have the green, we have the red. So the way this would work from here, okay, so normally we have red on our right when we're turning from sea, right? So anytime you're going up a river, you have red on your right. Right now we're going down a river, we're going back to sea, so we're going to have green on our left, going out to the Delaware Bay or out to the Atlantic Ocean. And we would just follow this channel all the way up to the bay. On our way out, we did pass a lighthouse. Sorry, Caitlin, I did not leave a link to it. The East Point Lighthouse, which is right here. I can click on it. East Point Lighthouse has been officially abandoned. Unfortunately, the ground or the water has been eroding the ground to a point that it had to be abandoned and closed because the erosion is to a point where they're worried about the water taking it back, claiming it. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of warp out per se and jump over to Lewes, Delaware. Okay. I will warn you that I do not boat often in Lewes, Delaware. I've only been here maybe twice. Ed, have you been here at much?
Several times. I did some sailboat races from Corinthian and Cape May, and Lewes was the host city. Casual racing, but nice little town dock in there. Very nice little town.
Okay, awesome, man. Awesome. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, one my Captain John, he couldn't make it. He won't be getting here on until after 8 o'clock. He was going to be covering this area and Cape May, but he'll be on later. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so coming into Lewes, Delaware, the main thing that we want to keep in mind is the current. Okay, so the current may or will come into play here. So the current is either going to be going south or coming north. All right, so it's really going to be coming into play. So make sure you're paying attention to it as you're coming in. You don't want to be running into anything. All right, as we're coming in, let's just take a look at what we're coming into, right? So I'm going to click on this Lewes, Delaware Marina thing because I want to look at the picture. Now I'm going to click on the Lewes Yacht Club Marina Roosevelt Inlet picture button. Let's see what it has. All right, really nice and wide. Lots of stuff going on here, right? Zoom my other map out. Bring it in. Okay, if you're going to be coming into Lewes, Delaware, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be coming into, get my pink thing here, move that up. We're going to be coming into the inlet, and then we're going to be hanging a port, turning to the left and going towards the city. All right, there, for the most part, there is nothing in that direction. There is nothing in that direction. There is just about nothing in that direction. Okay, there are some public boat ramps to your starboard. There are some public boat ramps in that direction. And there is I don't think there's any services out there. There is a Freedom Boat Club area in that direction. Other than that, all of your marinas, all of your services are going to be found following the pink line. Okay. Stop that. Stop the annotation. Bring that down there. Close the picture. Okay. All right, let's go into the marina. First thing you're going to come across is going to be a yacht club. That is the Lewes Yacht Club Marina. As with all yacht clubs, unless you're part of the yacht club or you join the yacht club or are part of a similar yacht club, there really is no way to get a transient slip. You can try calling ahead, try seeing if you can get one. You can try. I can circle these for you here. I know we've talked about these in great length. Other calls, these are your range lights going into the inlet. If you were to follow the range lights coming into the inlet, you'll be safe and sound. You will not have to worry about anything if you just follow them in. For more information about that, consult other videos. I've been told I talk about them way too much. Okay, we're going to be coming into the canal. The next marina we're going to be coming across is going to be Anchorage Marina. And that will be right about. It's not fun when these things don't show up on the chart. Pilot. It's right here. Okay, Anchorage Marina. I'm gonna go with right here. Is that the right name? Yeah, Anchorage Marina. Gonna be here on the right, on the starboard side. Okay, and we'll drop a link into that. After that, we're going to come across Pilot Town Marina. We can look at the pictures. Pictures are wonderful, gives you an idea as to what you're looking at. Okay, Pilot Town Marina, nice, small, and quaint, has a couple of slips for you. They don't have a website, they don't have a Facebook page. They do have a phone number. Best way to get a hold of them, give them a ring, see if they have a slip or two available. If they do, great. If not, move on to the next spot. There's quite a few marinas in this area. As long as they don't have something big going on, you should be good. Okay, but if they do have something big going on, make sure that you're planning well in advance before you just show up. Don't just show up down here. Okay. There's a couple other marinas down here. Okay. Where to start down here? Okay. You have a lot of stuff going on down here. Let me change what I am presenting with. If there's a way to do that. Stop share. Share this screen. Share. Okay. In Lewes, Delaware, there's quite a bit going on in Lewes, Delaware. Okay. Lewes, Delaware provides you with an interactive map so you can see what exactly is going on. And on the interactive map, you can figure out which slips are the transients. Okay, you click on them and find out what's going on, which ones are available, which ones are not. So when you call ahead, they'll tell you where to dock, when to dock, and where to get there. So what exactly are the rules? What are the regulations? The city has a very lengthy, not a very lengthy, but a thorough transient slip set of information. Okay. If you want to go there, you want to go there for dinner, you want to go there to hang out, you want to go there for an event, feel free, absolutely have a good time. I know plenty of people that do that. Call ahead, get a transient slip. They obviously have some regulations, there's some costs with it. If you're going to, they have $5 a foot per day. They have an hourly dockage, which would be $15 per foot, up to 25, plus $5 for each additional. They have some forms that you have to fill out and submit. Okay, just make sure that you plan ahead. If it's going to be a special event, plan well in advance. Okay, don't wait until it's the day of or the weekend before you decide, hey, let's go to Lewes, Delaware this weekend. Okay. stop share. Back to this one. Start now. Okay, there is some of these marinas do have fuel, some of these do not have fuel. Check with the marinas individually. Fuel prices go up, they go down. We can see the Lewes Harbor Marina has gas. Again, just check to make sure which ones are going to have gas, which ones don't have gas when you get there. Diesel fuel, gasoline, if you're going to need high test for any wave runners, make sure they're going to have what you're going to need. Okay. Make sure they pay attention over, or try not to go near the ferry terminal. There's a whole lot of stuff, lot of moving parts at the ferry terminal. Do not go near the ferry terminal. Okay. A lot of stuff going on over there. Try to stay away from it. Okay. I'm going to zoom out and we're going to slide over to Cape May Canal. We're going to start making our way north. Okay, the first thing I want to highlight is, I will remind everybody, is of the dolphins. All right, make sure we're kind of yielding to dolphins. Okay, we don't want to run anybody over. We don't want to be jumping in the water. We don't want to be petting dolphins. We don't want to be scaring them. We don't want to be throwing hooks on that or fishing hooks at them. I don't think there's ever been a day that I have driven through this canal or this entrance and not seen dolphins. Just be mindful as you're going through this area. Just pay attention. I also can never get a good picture of dolphins. I don't know what it is. Okay, Higbee Beach, which is right here. Higbee Beach. That's a great place to hang out. Great place to hang out. Absolutely awesome place. Also called Sunset Beach, a little further down, a little further to the south. Right here. Absolutely gorgeous place to hang out. Good spot, nice, relax, enjoy the day, anchor the boat, get off, swim. Just be mindful of the current. Don't get washed out to sea. All right. There's a dog beach around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. I've never done that with the dogs. Okay. All right. Let's start going in the canal. Has everybody driven past these ferries? Thumbs up if you've driven past these ferries before. Not driven on them, but driven past them. Okay, the ferries, I had highlighted this as a danger. Okay, it's definitely a cool thing to see, but it's also a danger. Okay, it's a danger because they're really big. They can't necessarily see you. It's also a danger because they have this prop wash. Okay, as they are docked, delete that. As they are at the dock and they are loading the boat, what they do is they leave the boat's engines in forward. As the boat's engines are in forward, the prop wash is pushing out like this. Okay. As your boat goes across that prop wash, your boat will do this. Okay. Same thing will happen as your boat goes across like this. All right. So you have to pay attention to that, especially if two boats are going the opposite way at the exact same time. I've seen two boats going the opposite way at the same time, and all of a sudden they think they're plenty clear of each other, and all of a sudden they bump into each other. because a prop wash pushes them into each other. All right. Oh, let me see if I can zoom in here on this enough. Okay. Now, hopefully everybody can kind of see this ghost ship right here. I'll kind of circle it here so you can see it. There's a ghost ship right here because that's a ship kind of turning around here, right? So what you may not see is the sandbar that their prop wash creates. I'm highlighting it for you. Okay. This is what their prop wash creates. And their prop wash also creates a hole, gigantic hole. Okay. So at the same time that you're worried about this prop wash, where's this prop wash going? Is it going this way? Is it going this way? Is it going this way? And where your boat is, you have to be worried about where your boat is going. Okay. When that ship is moving, do not cross this area. Whenever that boat is moving, backing out of the slip, going into the slip, just stop. Wait for it to get out of the way and then cross through this area. Consider it like a traffic light. Just stop. Okay. You don't want to get stuck between that ship and the sandbar. You don't want your boat here while he's backing up. That would just be that'd be crunch. Okay. Or your boat will be up here on top of that sandbar. Not so fun. Okay. Good. I think all that makes sense. In addition to all that, this whole area right here is a no wake zone. The no wake zone is from roughly this area to roughly this area. That is so you can slow down. Hey, pay attention. This big giant ferry could be backing out at any time. Slow down, pay attention. Don't get run over, kind of a moment. Okay, these two red channel markers are there. Red right returning from sea as you're coming in. They're to keep you from running over that sandbar. That's why they're there. That's all. Stop annotating. Okay, slide a little bit up the canal. Okay. Nothing going on right here. You know, this is just this is a Rutgers. Of course, the dogs want something. So this is actually a pretty funny spot. If anybody is ever want to be entertained by people, so this Rutgers aquacultural facility pump station, they do is take water in, take water out, and just test it. It has 2 hazard buoys, which people frequently confuse with no wake buoys. It's actually pretty funny. The 2 red channel markers are actually hazard buoys. So people are constantly coming up to it and just slam their throttle down thinking it's had no wake buoys until they realize that it's not a hazard buoy. I mean, not a no wake buoy. Okay, so continuing on the May Canal until we come to the next hazard. And this is a real hazard. This is a hazard because of a couple things. All right, I'm going to zoom out. This is a difficult hazard to explain. So let's see if we can kind of annotate this here. So this bridge is right here. That is roughly halfway from here to here, and halfway from here to here. Halfway water pneumatic wise. Okay, so since it is halfway, you could get the tide going up here and down on this side, right? When that happens at this location, what are we going to get? We're going to get something that looks like this. Churning motion, right? It's going to go around and round and round and round and bubble. So at that location, there just so happens to be a train bridge that constricts the water to make it even better. You will get a bubbling or almost a boiling moment right in this area on both sides. Okay, it's a boiling moment. This is one of the reasons why the Cape May Canal is off limits to all wave runners in New Jersey because of this boiling moment. If you go through this spot with a wave runner, or you go through the spot with a small skiff, you could have an issue where it could literally swallow the boat because of that churning motion. Has anybody experienced that before? I mean, I know I have, but okay. All right, welcome to Cape May. There's a whole lot going on here. A whole lot going on here. I can't cover every single marina. I'm going to try to. I can't. There's a lot of them. Okay. So Caitlin's just going to drop all the links in. I can't cover every single one of them. I'm going to cover the tops. Okay. So you have fuel everywhere down here. The main things I want to cover is that when you're coming in from the canal, all right, make sure you're paying attention to where you're going. You have two options. You can either go underneath the bridge, go this way, we go underneath the bridge, or you can go behind the island. Okay, this bridge has a vertical clearance of 55 feet. Okay, that's it. 55 feet. That's important to know. If you can't do 55 feet, you got to go all the way around the island. You got to go down around the cape of it. Okay. A lot of people think, okay, hey, I can avoid that. And they go down here. And they think they can follow this canal around this way. Well, let's zoom in here. This bridge, I don't think I can annotate it. Maybe I can. Like that and circle it. Has a vertical clearance of 4 foot at low tide. Yeah, I've gone underneath this bridge. Absolutely a blast. But it is very skinny, and the current can really go through here pretty fast, because think of the all the water kind of rushing around this little island. So make sure you're on top of your game. Make sure you're ready to go, and don't go through here thinking that with a big boat, oops, I don't have, like, if you didn't have a slip there, just make sure you're ready to go. Okay, stop annotating. Okay. Okay, back here. Oh, stop. I don't want that. Guess I will just annotate and circle. That's the best thing I can do. Okay. I'll get rid of this so it's not in the way. All right, down here we have Cape May Marina down here. which goes this entire way around this peninsula. We have South Jersey Marina, which I believe personally is the best transient marina on the entire east coast of the country. Hands down, I think it's the best one. The next one we have is Utches, or not Utches. Yeah, Utches Marina, right here. I'm going to go over more about Utches Marina in a couple moments. I just want to highlight that's where it is. It's right here. Oh, we have a ramp. Annotating. There's a Cape May boat ramp back here. Right here, I can zoom in on it so you can see it right there. All right, it's tough to get to. A lot of people use it and they clog up this road going into Cape May. So if you're going to use it, God bless you. But it's tough, man, because people just clog up that road to use it. It's not fun. You're gonna get angry. So I don't know, but yeah. Okay, something else I want to highlight down here. We'll zoom in. Okay, right here, I will circle it. Stop clicking on that. Did I circle the right one? Why does it say Marine Railway? It's not Marine Railway. Okay, right there, that is the Lobster House. That is a restaurant. You can tie up right next to it and eat. Oh, no, that's all the way over there. Yeah, no, that's it. Okay. All right, you can tie up right next to it and you can eat dinner. Okay. All right, let's talk about Utches Marina. Utches Marina, there's a lot going on over here with Utches Marina, so you have to pay attention when you're coming in and out of it. There's a lot of boats and not a lot of square foot. They packed them in pretty efficiently in this marina. Okay, so and if you look at where it is in relation to everything going along around it, look at where it is. I'll annotate the sandbar, the natural island sandbar. Okay, that's a natural island that the island wants to be. That's a natural island. So in order to get into Utches, they constantly have to dredge it and maintain it. So in order to get into Utches, the best way to do so, back to pink, is to come in, stay in the channel. There's usually a red marker out there on the channel, and it's a telephone pole. When you get to that telephone pole, you hang a about port or about left, and you go right along that bulkhead. If you have a fly bridge, make sure you have somebody up on that fly bridge. So you look over that bulkhead to see if anybody is coming out. And as soon as you get in front of that bulkhead, in front of that entrance, you just make an about turn and you go right into their marina. Their fuel docks are all the way down here. Same thing with their transient slips. Their transient slips are right along the spot right here. All right, good people. They do have nice food in the they do have a nice food and transient program going on there. Good people. Okay. Okay, next marina over here. This is the Canyon Club. They do have a interesting couple fuel docks going on here. They have a diesel dock and they have a fuel dock, which are separate from one another. Good spot to go. If you're coming in here, you got to pay attention. You know what? I can't spend too much time, but I can. Brown to annotate sandbar. Okay, they have a sandbar right in here. So you got to pay attention to this. I think it's where they put all their mud right here. Okay, so you have a diesel dock right here, and you have a gasoline dock right here. Sometimes for larger boats, they allow you to bat stern in to a fuel dock over here. But for the most part, the diesel dock is on this side. Pretty easy to get into, a lot of room to maneuver around and have a good time. Be mindful, go back to brown. As you can see these contours over here, some of these sandbars like to find their way into the marina, especially as you get further in the marina towards this way. That's why they have all the small boats down this end. So if you're taking a large boat into this T-head at this end, just make sure that you're paying attention to the depth as you're staying close to that outside bulkhead. Okay. All right, let's move our way further north. The next marina we're going to come across is the Corinthian Yacht Club. These guys do not like to share their mooring balls, but they're cool people. So let's talk about how to get into the Corinthian Yacht Club. Corinthian Yacht Club can be a challenge. You gotta pay attention. They do put out their own channel markers, so you gotta use their channel markers. I'll try to highlight it as best as I can. Getting in there, because they do have a anchorage behind them, even though they don't like to advertise it, but they do have a free anchorage back behind them. So to get there, you have this green channel marker, which is in the channel. Okay, you're in the channel. Then they're going to have a channel marker here, 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 here. So you have to kind of follow it around. And you have to go right along their dock, and then you're in, and you're in safe water. Okay, then once you're in and in safe water, stop annotating, you can slide into the back. And you're good back in here. And there's a free anchorage back there. But all this is kind of wrong. So this brown, the sandbar is more or less like that. All that area. That's all fine. All this area is fine. They do have some mooring balls in there, but a lot of this area is fine to find anchor in. Something I do want to highlight up on the north end here is a wonderful wave runner rental thing to pay attention to. Don't cross it, they yell at you. Right here. They have a wave runner rental track right there. It used to be my practice track, but they took it over. Okay, up on the north side here, up on the north end of the Cape May Harbor, we have a couple more marinas. There's a lot of marinas here in Cape May. We have Cedar Creek Marina. Here's my list here. Okay, we have Cedar Creek Marina. We have Snug Harbor Marina. And we have Breezy Lee Marina. Oh, stop clicking that. Sorry, guys. Let's circle all these things. Pink. Okay, right here. This is Snug Harbor Marina. I know it says Cedar Creek, but that is Snug Harbor Marina. Right here, this is Cedar Creek Marina. Cedar Creek Marina just got a new restaurant. I tried calling them earlier today to see if they were going to have slips, but they did not answer. So I did not put any information about that on there. That is Port Marina and Restaurant. I could not get any information about it. I tried calling them. They did not answer. There's also Mill Creek Marina in there. A bunch of stuff changed in there. They just got done filming a movie in that marina not too long ago. So a couple of things changed in there. Not sure what's going on exactly. Then you got Breezy Lee, which is gigantic nowadays. Breezy Lee is this big giant thing right here. Right. Okay. Directly across from Breezy Lee, we have a large free anchorage area. If you're not looking to pay anywhere to rent a slip, we have Anchorage Basin right in this area. There's be a lot of loopers in there, a lot of cruisers that tie up there looking for a weather window to their next destination. A lot of cool boaters in there to talk to. I should also highlight it that this is the Coast Guard's Cape May Training Center right here. All right, we've covered a lot. Is there any questions about anything so far? Trying to cover as much as I can. I'm trying to not sugarcoat stuff where I can. See it, John jumped on. Is that Captain John? Do you want to go take over already this? All right, let's jump into, I guess we can talk about later on. I'm going to do another webinar that's specifically going to talk about every single one of the inlets, because the inlets can have a whole conversation just on themselves. I do want to highlight that Cape May Inlet, it does have a range light that you can use to go dead center of it so you don't run aground. Be sure to use that. You use the red channel marker at the center of the ICW, and there's a red light behind that you can use to find the center of the channel. Use the range light so you can find the center of the channel, find your way up the safely in the inlet. Okay, we're gonna work our way into Wildwood, back along the ICW. First bridge that we're going to come to is a 2-mile bridge. It has a vertical clearance of 23 feet. Plenty of boats can go under there. It does open, so that's important to know. Any bridge that you want to open on the Jersey Shore, you can do so with channel 13 on the VHF radio. That's channel 13 on the VHF radio. All right, we have a couple marinas right here on our left. We have Hinches Marina. Is that Captain John on the call? John, if it's John, is Hinches Marina mudded in? Do you know? Guess it's not. I don't know. Wishful thinking on my end, I guess. Guess it's not John, Captain John. Okay, so I do recall over the past couple of years that there has been questions about the mud in Hinge Marina. So I don't know the condition of that marina. I do know it says that there's 10 feet at the beginning of it, that only 2 to 3 feet at the edge of it. Here is where it says 2 to 3 feet. And over here is where it says 10 feet. There is quite a bit of commercial traffic that comes in here, as we can see all this commercial traffic. I'm not sure about the depth in this marina or not. I'm not going in and out of there often to know exactly the depth in there. I have heard people complain about it. I only know about it second and third hand. Okay. Let's zoom out, jump over to Wildwood area. And I will fix my other map to follow along. Okay, the first marina we're going to come across is the 2 mile. The 2 mile crab house. This is a great spot to get some food. Absolutely delicious food. I've been in and out of here a whole bunch of times. It's a great place, and it's a technical place. Okay, I say it's a technical place because every now and then I highlight an area that has lots of current. Not only does it have current, but it has an area that it tends to have a lot of water flushing out of it. So let me zoom out and just so you can look at the area or water that's moving past that specific spot. So you can see all of the water. I'll annotate it here. All this water back here, right, is either going this way or it's going this way. It only has 2 options. It's only going to pick 2 options, and it's only going to go 50-50. That's it. That's all it's going to choose, 50-50. I'm sure there's somebody that has math better than me that'll say, you know, that channel over there is bigger than the other channel, so more is going to go the other way. But for the most part, it's going to be 50-50. So you tend to get a whole lot of current that is going to run through these slips here. Okay, so you really have to pay attention as you're going in across that current. A lot of times what I do is when I teach the ferrying technique, this comes into play here, right? You really got to use that current to your advantage and slide your boat sideways along it, kind of sail your boat with that current to get into those slips. Right here, when you get into this marina, you have a spot right along here to tie up your dinghies if you want to go there for dinner, or other places. That we don't. I think I just heard somebody else. All right, we're gonna start going.
Can you hear me now, Paul?
Oh, I can. Hey, how you doing?
It's like having like some technical difficulties here.
Welcome.
But
Welcome.
no, I agree with you 100%. Everything you said there.
Okay. Do you know? Was I right about Hinges? I haven't been back there often.
Yeah, you can actually get in there. I mean, at dead low tide, it's a little shallower if you got a bigger boat, but you know, I run people back there just doing the tours, and
Okay.
there's pretty decent water in there.
Okay.
We striper fish back there.
Nice. Nice. Hey, don't tell them where all the secret spots are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Cool. Cool. All right. So if we're gonna be leaving 2 Mile Marina, I I definitely suggest going down around the island. Do not go. So you're going to go down around the island.
Yeah,
Do
do
not
not
go
head
that
north.
way. Do not go north because you will absolutely run aground. Stop annotating here. So I mean, you can see all the 1 foots, 2 foots. They're just not advisable. All right, we're gonna keep sliding north along the ICW here. I'll zoom out. Some things we do have back here. We have 2 things to keep in mind back here. We have dolphins and we have rowers. Both of those are frequent occurrences. Pay attention to them. Watch out for them. There's a couple high school rowing teams that are back here, back behind Wildwood and back behind Avalon. Make sure we're paying attention to it. Okay, back here is Sunset Lake. Sunset Lake is a really cool spot. You can come back here, you can anchor up. Really, really nice area. You gotta pay attention and watch your depth. You can see here, we can see the see if I can highlight the sandbar here. I think we can see that sandbar there. The sandbar is there. You just got to really pay attention to it. And it can be deceiving. It's good to stay. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room over here. Absolutely plenty of room. Plenty of room. But going near that other area, you just kind of run around real quick. And I don't know why. But there's plenty of room everywhere else. And I see people anchoring out there. I do training out there. That's where I drop the buoys. We do high speed maneuvers. Absolutely good times out there. Okay. Okay, we're gonna keep going north. Up here we have, before I go up, we go up to Pier 47. We're gonna hit this kind of cluster of an area here. Hey, John, I just got your text message that your mic isn't working.
Okay.
Okay, so up here we have a couple things. Okay, we have Schooner Island Marina. I will circle it. Schooner Island Marina is humongous. John, do you know how they're making out with their fuel dock?
I understand they're hoping to have it open for the season, but I haven't had any
Okay.
follow-up. But they are
Okay.
dredging one good thing is like all that area is being dredged back behind Wildwood, like they're gonna do the whole thing.
Really? The
So behind
ICW or
they're currently dredging right behind Nummy Island right now.
really? Back
Yeah.
here? In front of all of the houses?
Yeah, like they're gonna go down through that whole thing. So it should be opened up. I mean, if you follow the buoys, you're not gonna have any issues anyway, but they are
Yeah.
doing that. Grassy Sound, Nummy Island, all that area.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
So,
awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
mhm.
Do you know anything about the restaurants over here?
The wharf got a little bit of a slick current coming in there. So just feel it out before you go in. Um, there's
All right.
usually a slip or two like inside Schooner Island there. It's usually pretty busy.
Yeah. Okay, so for those that don't know, so we have a couple restaurants over here. So right here we have something called the Boathouse.
Mhm.
We also have, where's my other map so I know where I'm looking. We have one here, we have one here, and we have one. We're all right on top of each other. So we have the Beach Creek Oyster House, which is right here. We have the Boathouse, which is right here. We have Yuri's, which is right here. All right. The Boathouse has been vacant for the past couple seasons. Any idea if that's going to be opening this year?
I haven't heard anything.
Haven't heard anything. Okay. The other trick to this is there's a boat club back there, and there's signs on all of the restaurant docks that says boat club use only. See, it's tricky. So you got to figure out which docks are okay to use. So if you want to go to and eat at one of these restaurants, make sure you call ahead and get permission to dock at their docks, because it gets really questionable back there.
And they haven't had a dock hand there for years
No, they
to
haven't.
talk to.
No. Okay, we're gonna jump across to the other side. There is you have this Lighthouse Point Marina. Have you ever dealt with them over there?
I'm not too loud for me.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna slide up to Pier 47. If you're gonna go up to Pier 47, we're going on the ICW. We had two options here, right? So we could have gone to going north. We could have stayed and gone to the right to go up to where we just were with Schooner Island, or we could go straight. And when we go straight, we kind of have to stay along the land with the houses to get up to Pier 47. Stop meditating. As we go up to Pier 47, as we can see, right, we got to really pay attention and stay to the starboard side. Okay, but we don't want to get too close, because you don't want any dogs jumping off those docks and into our boat. Okay. All right, we'll keep sliding up here, following the channel, and now we approach Pier 47. Pier 47 is a great group of guys. We work with them pretty well. They have a couple of slips. I don't know if they have anything available. They do offer lift services. They'll dry rack your boats and they'll drop them in for you. They do have do they have a ramp back there? I think.
There is a small ramp back there, but I don't know if it's a public ramp.
Okay.
But they're great. They're great people. I mean, if you need mechanical stuff, they're really helpful.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Good people. Good people. All right. Slide back down to the ICW. We'll keep moving north. Okay. All right. Going underneath the Rio Grande Bridge. Rio Grande Bridge has a 25-foot vertical clearance. Okay, right here we have two options. You have the long, slow route, or you have the faster route. You can take this long, slow route through the innards of Wildwood, or you take the intercoastal waterway. Personally, I prefer to take the intercoastal waterway, because then you just kind of shoot out and around, as long as you follow the channel markers, you will relatively get off scot-free. In the intercoastal waterway, the rule of thumb for the channel markers is that if you leave the green channel markers between you and the ocean, or between you and the ocean seaweed, you'll be safe, and leave the red between you and land, or you and rust. That is the rule of thumb. Okay, so if you follow the intercoastal waterway, it's pretty straightforward. You just follow the channel markers up and around. This here is an old train railroad bridge. I believe they just removed that not too long ago.
Yeah.
That was stuck closed for a while, clogging up the channel. No
Yeah,
real
follow the
issues.
markers there because it's shallow. If you get out of the current there, you will run aground.
Yep,
But it's
absolutely.
very well marked. And I agree with what Paul said. Like I say between you and green between you and the ocean blue. And you can't mess up behind Wildwood if you do that.
Nope. No. Traveling along the ICW. All right, up here on the ICW, the next. Sorry, Caitlin, we're kind of going out of order here. But the next marina that we're going to come to is Grassy Sound Marina. Grassy Sound Marina, these are a bunch of good guys. They have a ramp. They're good people. Great area. They're out there kind of in the middle of everything and in the middle of nowhere kind of a thing, you know. They're not they're not in downtown Wildwood amongst all the chaos where Schooner Island Marina is. They're at the north end, kind of up out of the way. Good spot if you're just going out on the water to go fishing. You know, you're not out there to hang out with everybody and their grandmother. Good spot to go out. All right. If you're going to be going out here, make sure you follow these channel markers again. Good thing. It's going to be a trend with the intercoastal waterway. Make sure you're sticking with the channel markers. The moment you go out those channel markers, the moment you're going to get stuck. You're going to run aground. So right here, we can see the channel markers. They curve to the starboard side, right? They curve to the right. Follow them to the right. Here we're going to go outside. We're kind of going to go into the inlet a little bit here, and we're going to come across Dad's Place. Dad's Place is the next marina that we're going to come across. He did have fuel, another good spot, good place to pull up, hang out. Good marina. Another one of those marinas, again, all the way at the north end of the island. It's nobody else around. Good, no frills kind of a place. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of wrap around back south into the inner side of the island. Right here is the Hereford Inlet Marina. I'll circle it. This marina, I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know, it's been getting rebuilt the entire time I've been teaching these classes. Since I started the school, it must have got wiped out during Sandy or something, but it's been completely rebuilt since. The marina, the docks are outstanding. It's in a tough spot. I'll give it that. Some of the slips are excellent. Some of the slips are tough. They do have a great office, great people. I will say that you do not want that slip. There is only one slip in the entire state. I have not been able to dock a boat. It is that slip. In the entire state, I cannot teach a person to dock that slip. Don't put a boat in that slip. Okay. All right, going south on, I guess still the intercoastal waterway, or on the inside of the inside of Wildwood. John, I'm going to kind of lean on you here. Do you get up on this at this end area much?
So, yeah, I have like, I do occasionally go through there, but it's not something that, like every time I do it, it's like I look up my research the night before, make sure that I, look on the like I use Navionics or what do they call it? Garmin boating now or something. And
Yeah,
look for the pitfall.
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot. It's mostly no wake the entire way because it's all behind
Yep,
these houses
exactly.
back here.
And that's why I don't go back there.
Yeah, and I don't know which of these marinas are still here and are still not. Some of these marinas got closed up. Some of them did not. It's tough to know.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know which ones are still here, which ones are not.
No, I can't answer that.
Okay. Okay. I know which ones are here. Down here. I'll zoom back out so I can reorient everybody. Orient everybody right here. This is Schooner Island Marina. Back down to Schooner Island Marina. Okay, we'll slide north on the ICW, and right here is where I said that we could either continue on the intercoastal waterway or go the slow way. Okay, now we're going to go the slow way. Going the slow way, we come across another marina. Right here, this is where we're going to come across the leave. This is Bunkers Marina, right here on the starboard side. I should say Montgomery Point Marina. Why does it say that? Okay, right here, this is Bunkers Marina. They have a couple rental pontoon boats, but a good place to dock your boats. It's another one of those no frills marinas because it's kind of out of the way, but it's a good spot because one, it's out of the way, but it's close enough to everything else that you're right up the creek, you're right up the stream from all the excitement in Cape May, or you're right up the street or right up the creek from Sunset Lake, right? So you're not that far away from everybody else. Or yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna go north. If you're gonna be going across this bay, make sure you do it in a straight line. Do not veer off in any direction. I guess I should adjust this a little bit. Okay. So as you come across, go around Bunkers Point Marina. They were doing some dredging back here. I'm not sure if how that affected or how well they did, if they got any of this mud out of here or not. But they were dredging a lot of this out to make room, and they were going to be building up some houses back here. I don't know if that changed. I have not been down here this year to see if any of that has changed. But last year, the rule of thumb was there's a bridge directly on the other side over here. Basically, you draw a straight line and you drive straight across. Of course, you don't hit any boats or anything like that. All right, so you just drive a straight line straight across, and you're fine. You don't run aground or anything like that. Just drive a straight line, and you're good. Other than that, there's really no other way to get across. Anything else, any other deviation, you run around pretty quick. All right, over here, these marinas have changed names a couple times. I can't keep track which name is which. There's a Bridgeport Marina, there's a West Bay Marina, there's a K&D Family Marina, and a C Marina. They're all on top of each other. I can never keep track as to which one's which. I'll circle them. I'm sorry, because if they watch, I can't keep track. And there's one over here. I can't keep track which one's which. I can't do it. I don't know. John, any idea?
No, I don't go back there that often.
Okay. I get every time I come back here, I'm going to someone's house. I don't know.
Me too, and I'm just kind of driving to the house and then leaving from there. And
Yeah. Okay, back here, there is a bridge. It is very low, a very low bridge. You can get underneath this street, but it is extremely low, like very low, like 4 foot at low tide below. Just like the bridge back in Cape May, how you're only at low tide, you're putting everything down to get through there. All right, so don't expect to get through there at high tide. And in addition to that, I mean, the water, one side shows 6 foot, the other side shows 2-3 feet. It gets shallow, it gets sketchy real quick in there. And then back here, there used to be over here, there used to be some Wave Runner rental places, and there used to be a Wave Runner marina that only had Wave Runner slips, like those plastic docks that you put the Wave Runners on. I don't know if that exists anymore. I don't know. I have not been in Wildwood yet this spring. Okay. North. And we're back on the Intercoastal Waterway. Okay. I'm not sure of much on the Wildwood side, on the North Wildwood, inner North Wildwood side. I'm not sure which marinas are there, which ones are not there. They tend to change hands often in the spring. The only one I'm positive about is the Hereford Inlet Marina. Does anybody on the call know anything about them? All right, guess not. All right, we can end it here, or we can keep going. What do we want to do? Thumbs up to keep going, or I could probably talk forever. So
Paul, are we close to being back on your original timetable?
I think we are. Yeah, yeah. I could probably squeeze stone the next timetable. On Monday, I want to cover Ocean City and Great Egg River. So on Wednesday, I can get from where I am now to Ocean City.
All right,
can do
I
that.
think that's a good place to, if we break tonight, then, and in my opinion.
Okay. As long as everybody else is okay with that. I think somebody was on the call from Avalon. I don't want to skimp that person out on something if that Okay, Jonathan's saying keep going. I don't want to skip somebody else,
Okay.
somebody
I'm
out
good
if
with
they
it as
were.
well.
Okay. All right, so we're going to keep going north then. It's best to go north to follow the intercoastal waterway. You, quote, can go on the outside, but it's not marked. Okay. On the outside, I mean, if you're going up into Hartford Inlet, you can kind of skate between Nummi Island and the beach here. I mean, there is a path, but it's not marked. There is some water there. We see 8s, we see 12s. It's not path, it's not marked, it's not traveled regularly. What is traveled regularly is the intercoastal waterway. Okay, so while we're traveling this intercoastal waterway, again, we're leaving red between us and the rust and green between us and the seaweed. Okay, we're gonna follow it up to the north. We're staying in the channel. We're not leaving the channel. Okay, there are some areas where it can get kind of confusing because, you know, it kind of snakes around, right? It doesn't necessarily follow what looks like the larger channel. It follows what it wants to bring you back to land, back to the water. It doesn't want to take you back into in a crazy direction, right? It wants to bring you back towards the water here. So make sure that we're paying attention to where we're going. Okay, so we're following along the intercoastal waterway, trying to go up north. First marina that we're going to be coming across is going to be Stone Harbor Marina. Right here. Sorry, let me get my other. Okay. All right. First marina we come to is Stone Harbor Marina. Second marina that we're going to be coming to is going to be the Yacht Club of Stone Harbor. I'll annotate those. So this is the Stone Harbor Marina, and this here is the Yacht Club of Stone Harbor. Okay. Stop annotating. Zoom in. Okay, right here is the Stone Harbor Baskel Bridge. The bridge does have a vertical clearance of 10 foot, but it does open and close. Okay, again, that bridge opens on channel 13. If you need to open that bridge, radio them on channel 13 when it is in view, and they will open it for you.
They're cranky though.
They are.
Yeah, they can be because of the traffic going in and out in the summertime.
Okay. It's unfortunate, but all of the bridge operators are, believe it or not, DOT employees. They are not Coast Guard employees. So the Coast Guard does not have any influence or management over the bridges. Okay, we're traveling north, and we're going to follow along the intercoastal waterway here. Intercoastal waterway is going to take us away from land. It's important to note that. If you can go along the island, but it's going to be all slow, no wake. Okay, when you do that, it's just going to be nice and slow the entire way. Not only that, but it gets unmarked real quick and with sandbars kind of pop up on you. So you got to know where you're going. You got to be paying attention. Try to stick to the land as much as you can. There is a marina back here. It's the Avalon Bay Marina. Coming back here, all sorts of houses back here. Lots of, there's no real restaurants back here. Nothing really to go unless you have a house back here. No reason to be back here. You can cut through back here. You can get out to the ICW. Just have to kind of know where you're going. Again, unless you have a reason to be back here, really no reason to be back here. It's all no wake zone. If you're gonna be throwing a wake, people are gonna get upset at you real quick. All these turns around the islands, got to be paying attention to. We zoom in on this one right here by these houses. You can see that sandbar. All right, so as we're coming around here, you would have to go around the sandbar. All right, around the point. You would not want to go cross here, because if you cross here back behind these houses, you're going to run aground. It would not be a good scenario. Right. Right. But you can follow the path out. It just gets real skinny real quick. I see people come out here doing it with real small skiffs, and they're doing it with wave runners, not large boats that were back out on the ICW. All right, we can pan back along the ICW, but there was really nothing between here and where we started. Just still a lot of intercoastal waterway where we were sticking to the channel markers. You don't have to have channel markers right next to each other all the time. Yes, they act like curbs on the road, but they're not physically like curbs. You don't have to have them next to each other all the time. As long as you have them as a reference, okay, I'm going from here to here to here to here, like dots on the like we're drawing a dot art, then we're good to go. Okay, following north along it. Okay. Travel north along the ICW. There's a fixed bridge, and it does not indicate a height on that bridge. It's interesting. Wonder why. Maybe it's a power cable. Okay, it says overhead power cable, authorized clearance 30 foot. So maybe it's a 30-foot clearance for that power cable. Maybe that's what that yellow line is right there. All right, coming across the ICW. This is another spot where I've seen growers coming in and out of the Avalon Point Marina. Great spot to hang out, but I believe they have a good breakfast spot in there. I've gotten a breakfast sandwich in there a couple times when I've had an early morning training session. They do have fuel there. Real easy in and out. Good spot. Okay, over here. Nothing there. Gonna go a little bit further north on the ICW. Gonna come across Marina. This is the Avalon Yacht Club. And we can kind of slide back in along the island. Sliding back in along the island. There is another yacht club, or the Bay Club. That's a Commodore Bay Boat Club. The Commodore Bay Marina. Then they get some decent sized boats in there. Good spot to go. All right, just to the south of here, this is also where the Miss Avalon goes out of. If you're looking, if you ever go out on those head boats, they go out of this area, kind of where this fish is, right here, right in that area. Okay. Gonna slide back north. I guess we can slide backwards and go north. All right, really isn't much back in here. That's all just residential. Always good to see what different fishing spots there are along here. Always poke your bow or stern into some of these hidey holes along here. Different sides of this island here might look like a different good spot for fish to hide. All right, going to pan north a little bit. This is Townsend Inlet. All right. Townsend Inlet has its own challenges. I would not traverse the inlet unless you know exactly what you're doing. That inlet is one of the more challenging inlets in the state. Definitely would not traverse that one if you did not have to. The anchor right here, circle this right here, that indicates an anchorage. In this area, I have seen a couple of cruisers or sailboats or trawlers that do anchor in this area, because there are not a lot, or there are not a plethora of transient slips in this area. So I will see an occasional person anchored up and spending the evening in this area. Definitely a good word to the wise is make sure, if you do plan on doing that, have plenty of bug spray ready to go. Okay, I believe it. We just covered the entirety of Stone Harbor up to Avalon, and that covers everything I was supposed to cover up to this point.
Hey, Paul, can I add on Townsend's Inlet there?
Sure.
I mean, you can learn the inlet, but Paul's definitely right. Like, make sure that you talk to people and be careful. Anytime you have an easterly swell there, it's very deceiving because the water could look really very passable. But when you get a good, especially if it's a long period groundswell in there and you get like a 6 or 8, 10 footers and you don't really notice them because they're, I don't know, 100 yards, 200 yards apart, but they come across that bar and then they come in there and it can be bad. Like you can go from, you just all of a sudden you have no water because they get big. And then going underneath of that bridge, do not cut the corners. It moves swift and it goes from like 0 feet to 40 feet in the middle of the bridge. I mean, and it screams through there.
Yeah, that's
So
where we just lost the head boat not too long ago.
yeah,
Out
exactly.
there.
Yeah, but people
Yeah.
kind of come in from like, and they get themselves turned sideways in the current, and you will wash right up against the pilings before you know it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I'm not covering the inlets during these quick webinars. Where I'll do a inlet specific webinar because they're challenges unto themselves
Yeah,
that are
perfect.
unique. Yeah. Okay, so. Okay, that concludes tonight's webinar. I'm sorry, I apologize, it was so lengthy. Tomorrow's webinar, I plan, minus the Stone Harbor and Avalon. I plan to cover Sea Isle, Strathmere, Ocean City, and Summers Point. That will line us up perfectly, and I think we are right on time and right where we need to be. Are there any questions about anything we covered today or did not cover? I tried to cover as much as we could. It was a lot of water to cover tonight. If I glossed over something, I apologize. That was not my intention.